been ages since I have played the Crew, as much as I actually even streamed it. And what I mean by play is I mean actually have a... how to explain it? Well, pretty much played fully. Surprisingly, I actually got bronze on this event. What am I gonna get? Oh, look. XP bonus and so forth. Okay. Get my faction rewards because I haven't collected those in a really long time. Fairly boring, but I'm gonna collect these. Wrong one. Frankly, I've actually been bored playing the Crew. I just haven't been feeling up to playing it at all. I just don't see a purpose in playing it since I just don't even really like it. Well, I do like it. It's a good game, but the core game itself is fantastic, but in reality, the game is pretty much dead. And yeah, I mean, there's no legit brand new content, no brand new content being added into the game. There's like pretty much nothing being done to the game, so I just don't have a real reason to play it. I mean, yeah, the police cars are nice, but I don't really like them. They're not really, per se, new content, really. It's just kind of direct copy and paste of content that's already been in the game, but just made to seem new. That's just my view, though. And pretty much done getting all these faction missions sorted. This guy's on a circuit car, but I'm gonna switch to a circuit car in a bit. I don't actually know if there's any brand new police cars added into the game. Well, actually, it's getting kind of close to near the end of the month, so you can definitely tell that I haven't played all that much of the Crew, since I don't even know what kind of content's been added in. And I just got bounty league points taken away because, well, I got invited to a chase that was pretty much already ending. That's the annoying part about the police update. I mean, I hope that the next update for this game will actually be a pretty good update. Instead of just, well, this crap of like just police cars being added in like once a month or something like that. There's not really anything special about it at all. And that bus was cutting it way too close to me. Let's get something I haven't driven in a while. Not the R235, that's pretty rubbish. Not the R, let's just grab that. You know what? Let's just go to the police shop and see what's up. Default tags. And the police shop. Who knows, maybe they have a secret hidden vehicle that they just recently unlocked, but I doubt it. See anything new? Everything is owned. Oh, I forgot to clear out all those notifications of the new cars. Oh, I forgot that they added the Mini Cooper police car. I guess that's kind of cool if they added in the Mini Cooper police car, but again, it already exists in the game, so I don't see a real reason as to why it should exist as a police car. I mean, yes, it does look very, very cool, but it's just same old content that's already existing in the game. Anything new? I got that Ducati, which I need to modify. Literally nothing new. I didn't bother to check the extreme specs. Oh well. Not to mention that the Crew is also a pretty broken game as well, so yeah, it's riddled with bugs. I mean, the bugs aren't anything too major. They aren't game breaking most of the time, but they're still pretty annoying. Rivals is in fact, Need for Speed Rivals has less bugs than this game, as far as I can tell. It only has less bugs, although Need for Speed Rivals only has less bugs in the game if you don't run it on the 60 FPS mod that you can do. When you run it at do the 60 FPS mod, the game runs at twice speed, and then the game engine just basically wants to die. Should I keep my rider white? No, I'll make a yeah, rider. It's a rider. Let's give him a red helmet and stuff and red outfit. About time they actually added this bike into the game, the circuit spec Ducati monster. That's been missing for pretty much a year already, actually. They promised to release it sometime last year while Wild Run was still a thing, and then they never released it. Up until now, that is. So it's kind of bad that they just don't really know what's going on with their game most of the time, or oblivious to most of the bugs that are in the game. In fact, I wouldn't say most of the bugs, I'd say like pretty much all of the bugs. And then are oblivious to content that they didn't actually release yet. I'm just curious. Where is, like... Yeah, here's the liveries. Let's see, is there any other police car that's just hidden? That's not really been released. The Lotus Exige police car has been released. That's kind of cool. The Impala Sport Sedan is pretty cool police car as well. So is the Skyline. Oh, look. I'm surprised that Arctic Games had actually come out to watch my stream. Didn't think he would. Well, welcome, I guess. I'm pretty sure that Street Spec Kawasaki GPZ was actually an accidental add-in to the patch notes. Either that or they were thinking they were going to add it, but then it was just kind of cut out of the game last minute. Overall, I just hate the police cars, really. Mostly. It's, like I've said multiple times before, it's just exactly the same content that's already existing in the game. Some of them have, like, different physics to them, but other than that, that's just kind of their way of making the police cars handle differently. Those police cars handle differently. Yeah, they're missing some of the drag cars. The classic drag cars are missing from the game still. Well, frankly, they probably... Again, those were probably just dropped because of licensing issues. They just probably made them just to see, they probably made them while the license was still pending for those specs, and then at the last minute, the companies were like, nope, we're not having this. I have no idea what's going on at Ubisoft Ivory Tower, to become completely honest with the game, but frankly I don't really care because the game's kind of dead to me. If the next expansion just pretty much mostly just brings a whole bunch of awesome new content, then that'll bring the game back onto the map mostly, but I am pretty sure they're not going to be able to fully fix this game ever. I've actually moved on to Rivals as well, but to be completely honest, Rivals is becoming repetitive as well. I was considering live streaming Rivals today, but I thought switch it up a little bit, play a game I haven't played basically properly in forever. Not to mention the community of this game's kind of meh, not really that good. Pretty much everywhere it's not that good. The forum users just complain way too much about the game. I mean, I get it. The game's not perfect, but there's no really a reason to complain. Yeah, they've definitely dug the game into a very, very deep hole as it is. The game's not entirely completely broken, but in terms of just repetitiveness, yeah, that's what this game has. Once you basically have everything done, there's like nothing to do. Yeah, there's the free drive challenges that you can do, stuff like that, but even so, that's just gonna become extremely boring after a while. And the competitions that the developers did, like that sticker competition they did was kind of cool, I guess, but at the same time, you know, that's just for the people that have absolutely nothing better to do with the game at all. Just unlock something for the game. And I did see quite a few people that were like, oh yes, they're adding actual new hidden content to the game. Yes, this is awesome. But the way I saw it, it's just like, meh, this is not really that special. Yeah, you can't 100% the game either. A lot of most of the things in this game are just pretty much dead. The Crew versus Crew PvP is dead because, well, it wasn't a fan favorite. I honestly think, well, actually, they couldn't really remove. I was thinking they could have just removed the Crew versus Crew aspect of the game, in the Crew versus Crew PvP aspect of the game, but that's the whole point of the game. It's all about crewing up and just playing the game together with other players, working together with other players. But frankly, that's what the Crew was at the beginning of its lifespan, and nowadays it's just kind of worn down to pretty much nothing special anymore. I mean, I'd be more than happy to play for the Forza games. I mean, I looked at like Forza Horizon 3 and I looked at it as the game is just like, okay, they're adding new cars and they're not really giving you anything to do with the brand new cars. But the Forza-thon system is pretty cool as well with Forza Horizon 3. I respect the Forza developers for doing something like that, because it actually gives players a physical reason to actually play the game. Come on, unlock a special car, unlock certain other things. Mochi! Updated graphics are not necessarily a bad thing either, to be completely honest. The graphics are pretty good in my opinion. But it'd be nice if they give you the option to actually switch between the different graphics options. Either the older options or the newer options. I mean, it doesn't really majorly affect the gameplay as it sits. In fact, I think it might actually stabilize the frame rate a little bit better. Or make it worse, depending on what your PC is capable of doing. I mean, the old graphics are actually still there. I'm pretty sure the old graphics engine is actually still in the game engine, so I'm pretty sure they could pretty easily code the engine so that you could switch between the two different graphics options. Yeah, it is the same engine indeed. Oh, jeez. I mean, yes, the developers did do a lot of just good things to the game. A lot of features that just other games haven't done yet, like this photo mode, for instance. I mean, this is the coolest feature that they've ever added into the game, like, ever. The fact that you can just stop the game in real time, freeze it completely as it is. I never thought that it could actually achieve a system just like this with the game engine being so just kind of wonky and weird. But they managed to achieve it, and I congratulate them on that. But again, it's still got problems. As you can see, the reflections are kind of messed up. The further you go, the less reflections you actually get. You have to get really close and really low to the ground. In fact, you actually have to be at a certain angle to see the reflection. As you can see there, it's kind of broken. But that's probably not our #1 priority to fix. The cars aren't actually even... The car models themselves are actually not even that bad either. Some of them are kind of meh, but that's the point. Any higher quality models, and then the game engine would just not run very well. But overall, the game does show a lot of promise as it's sat at the beginning, but again, it's pretty much just gone past its lifespan already. The game's like, what? About not even 5 years old. It's getting close to 5 years old. 4 years old, actually, I'm pretty sure. If I'm not mistaken, it's about 4 years old, the game. 2014, so it's 2017, so it's about 3 years old. Pretty good, I guess. But still, they're kind of just extending it a little too far, as it is. Anyway, I'm gonna make a free drive challenge and just do... Pedestrians are so dumb and annoying sometimes. Let's take something to drive across the entire US. I honestly don't know what I want to take. AMG GT, meh. I'm pretty sure they haven't changed anything with the AMG GT. I want to just test this real quick. Brakes feel just about as rubbish as they were before. What is that? What is that? Is that a... Oh, that's a plane with, like, a weird bug. Don't want a chase invitation. A weird rendering bug. Yeah, AMG GT's brakes are still rubbish. I'll take something else, though. Let's just take this. Oh, that's stunt. Could have sworn free drive stunts was on the left side before, not on the right side. Maybe I just haven't played the game forever and I forgot about that. What to do? Where to go is the question. I need to think about where I want to place these checkpoints because I don't want it to bug out. What? Oh, is this the starting point? Yeah, I forgot I have to create a starting point. Yeah, let's start here. Good. Continue on. Up into the snowy mountains. Whoa. Okay. I'm gonna just try mostly staying on the highway. Okay, let's put that there, I guess. Oop. Okay, let's remove that checkpoint and put it over there. So in this case, since I am actually staying on the highway mostly, I should probably get a circuit car, since that has the highest top speed. Remove checkpoint. Let's finish off at the Naval Air Base because why not? Validate. Where's circuit? Where is something I haven't really driven in forever? Should I take this? No. Not feeling it. I'm gonna take the AMG GTR. If I can even get to it in time. Where is it? Whew. Had 1 second left to spare to grab it. Brakes are crap, but I'll go with it anyway. Oh goodness, the steering feels heavy. That's actually just my steering setup, I'm pretty sure. And no, we're not going to turn there. I'm going to turn, and I missed the intersection. Like a complete idiot. Now that I've played Rivals, I actually noticed quite a few flaws with the game. The GPS line is just awful. It doesn't really show you where you're going. I would have preferred if they did like the Rivals approach where they put the GPS line on the road. And I am Captain Sense of Direction right now. I have no idea where I'm going. It's called sarcasm, Logan. And there's quite a few things that actually got me just hyped up with this game. The AMG GT got me incredibly hyped up with the game, but after I realized that they just completely ruined the car by bottlenecking its brakes to make it somewhat bounced up against the other cars, it just infuriated me. It infuriated me that they just wanted to try and balance this just by making the brakes pretty much useless and the car overall pretty much useless. Except for on highway tracks, which most of the time you're not going to be on in PvP or pretty much anywhere. Even some of the lower end cars, just the worst circuit cars and perf cars, would just outbrake this thing. It was just completely awful. It's as if it has milk bottle tops for brakes. And yeah, I noticed that the physics are also pretty weird as well compared to Rivals. Rivals doesn't have this feature where if you go over a bump and you're kind of turning, it doesn't put you on two wheels. Just overall, Need for Speed Rivals is a better game, but the Crew's just better in terms of customization. Can you stop yelling? I'm not yelling at all. I mean, yeah, this is a really, really cool car as it sits. The AMG GT3, the AMG GT3 and the AMG GT, but it's just ruined for me completely. Seeing that they just wanted to achieve balance, but then they just made the car useless, essentially, in PvP. I mean, there's far superior cars compared to this. And so what if it just so happens to be better than all the current stuff that's in the game? That's not necessarily a bad thing. Maybe it is a better thing, because it'll be something... If this became the best car for PvP completely, and making the made the 458 completely irrelevant for use in PvP, pretty much, I'd be fine with that, because I'm just sick... I'm honestly sick and tired of seeing people use the 458 circuit spec in PvP. Everybody uses it. Can you be quiet, Olga? This does not concern you. Boy, traffic. I've seen quite a few games, even as it sits, just that have added new content, and it turned out the new content that they added into the game was just better than the old content. And most of the time, nobody complained about it. But in this game, whenever new content just outrules old content, it seems like just people get really, really pissed off in this game. It's like, that's not necessarily a bad thing. Maybe add a little bit of diversity to the game. It's not severely changing the way that content is. It's just bringing some change to the game. I don't know, this thing just would have been absolutely a perfect, just a complete PvP monster. And it would just monster the 458 circuit spec. And I would approve. This definitely deserves to be the best circuit spec car in the entire game. Not some Italian high-end supercar that pretty much everybody knows about. It's almost as if Ferrari just basically paid them. It's like, hey, make this the best circuit spec car. But I'm pretty sure they didn't. Ferrari did not pay them to make it the best circuit car. They just probably made it and it's like, okay, doesn't matter. In fact, I'm surprised they didn't do the same exact treatment on the 458 circuit spec. They just added into the game, it's like, okay, we're not going to bottleneck it. We're just going to make it the best thing ever. Even though we want to achieve balance. And then they just take this and make it worse. Even though it has a high chance of being the best circuit spec car. Which I don't 100% understand. At the time when they released the 458 circuit spec, it was completely brand new content. And it was just better than everything else. Well, then again, a lot of things changed with the Crew. with the game after Wild Run was released. Sometime in the middle of Wild Run, they started doing this braking bottleneck tuning on the newer cars that had a high chance of being able to keep up with the better content. Which I don't 100% understand why they did this, why they did that, why they did that. But they did it, and there's nothing really you could do about it because they're probably not going to change the outcome. And as you can see, I'm just braking normally, perfectly fine, and the thing just can't stop. And you can even tell by the stats. It's like 1,000. The braking stats are like 1,000, or 1,000. How would I say it? 1,000 units lower than just some of the higher end cars. But you can't really include the hot rod. That thing is very, very light, so it needs less powerful brakes because you don't need very powerful brakes to make a light car stop. That would just probably rip your face off if you had the most powerful brakes possible on a super light car. Like if you took the Bugatti Veyron brakes, for example, and you put those on the Ariel Atom 500, which is pretty much the lightest track car you can have, then that thing would stop so well that it would create a ton of G's, which would most likely give you quite a few injuries. And I know I'm driving like I'm drunk. I'm not 100% used to the steering sensitivity. I can't see. There we go. What the? Okay. That doesn't happen in Rivals. Random physics moments like that are just weird in this game, but that's the way the physics engine is. There's nothing you can really do about that, because the developers are not gonna take the time to completely rebuild the physics engine of this game. Which is annoying, but I don't know, it's their game. If they want to kill their game, then that's fine, I guess. I honestly don't care anymore. Something better will come out someday. But honestly, I'd say I'd actually get my the Crew has given me my money's worth in terms of just content. If I played Forza Horizon 3, I'm pretty sure I would not have gotten my money's worth. I mean, $60 for the game, and then you can pay another $40 for more content added, like just brand new, just extra vehicles. And then after that, you have to get the expansion pack to get like all the other add-on DLCs, like the Hot Wheels expansion that's coming into Forza Horizon 3, the Porsche expansion, which isn't really an expansion. It's just adding cars in, and they just put the name expansion on the pack just to make it seem like it's a significant thing, when in truth it's actually no different than any of the DLC they've been releasing for like $5 maybe. And the lights have come on my car. Okay, so we're heading off here. We're gonna be getting our drift on. And I've forgotten how to play the game. Okay, just try and drive straight, and everything should be fine. Easier said than done. I do indeed like the fact that they added, like, the whole, just, the map itself is fantastic. The entire, quote-unquote, the entire US, even though it's, like, 50% of the US. Not even that, it's actually probably even a quarter of the size of the real US. Then again, if you were to make a real-sized US map for a game, that would take many, many years to get every single detail right and then make it bug-free. Because the US is just probably 1 million square miles in size, more than that actually. But the Crew's US map's only like approximately 2,000 square miles in size, which is not even half of the size of the US. It's like 10 times smaller. Ten times, 100 times smaller. Yeah. If it was 10 times smaller, that'd be 200,000 square miles. Whatever. Making our way to Vegas. And it would also take a lot longer to get to certain places. Like, it literally took me like maybe 10 minutes of driving just to get from what was that? New Orleans or something? New Orleans. Detroit. It took me like 10 minutes to drive from Detroit to Las Vegas. Which in real life, that would take you maybe a couple of days. Okay, hello traffic. Whoop. I'm like scraping like crazy on this road. Whereas on the highway I wasn't even scraping. There we go, not. Okay. Don't know how that didn't trigger a crash camera. I mean, don't get me wrong, the game is fantastic. I can totally see that the developers put a lot of love and effort into this game. But frankly, they didn't put enough into it. They could have done a lot better. And the developers even said that the game was, like, worked on for over 5 years before it got to release date. And during that time, I'm pretty sure it went through numerous alpha stages. and it was about the same as it is right now. So where I see it as the game, so as I see it, the game, it is kind of sad seeing that the game is pretty much reached the end of its life cycle, but at the same time, it was bound to happen. There was a good chance it was happening. I'm pretty sure Calling All Units was just kind of, the Calling All Units DLC update was just kind of the last hurrah, the last attempt of the developers to kind of save the game, do some features that the players asked for, and they're probably gonna announce that they're gonna do a sequel to the game at E3. That's what they're probably working on right now. Unless if it's another DLC, and then that's probably the last DLC for this game, and they're gonna stop doing major updates to the game permanently, keep the game running for maybe another 2 or 3 years, and then they're gonna pull the plug on the servers. Oh, I kind of did say multiple times before that I wish that the game, that I would hope that they would add an offline mode to the game, and an offline mode to the game, but to be completely honest, I don't think I would actually want to play this game over again, ever, after what's happened. I mean, it'd be kind of nice just to do kind of a speed run through it, reset your save and then do a speed run through it, see how fast you can complete the game with certain objectives. And also do stuff like in Most Wanted 2005 with that Crew HS does with speedruns. He does specific speedruns with Most Wanted 2005, like restricted to this car, or different kind of challenges like skipping certain bosses and so forth. That's kind of stuff that would be nice to see and you be able to do in this game as well. Just allow people to speedrun the game. But frankly, I'm on the fence about that. About them making an offline mode. It wouldn't be really just worth it for them to make an offline mode of the game. And if they don't make an offline mode, then that's fine. Something better will come out of the Crew. Hopefully they'll make a sequel to the game that'll be a lot better than this version, than the Crew. And yeah, I mean, they worked with Reflection Studios on something. I don't exactly know what it was. I think it was the physics engine of the game. And Reflection Studios made an absolutely amazing game. They made Driver San Francisco, which was just a great game. I played through it, and it was fantastic. I could probably do Back on Track, but I don't feel like it. And I'll be honest, I actually did get hyped up with the current DLC that the game is on right now, the Calling All Units DLC. I saw the trailer, I saw the Gamescom gameplay, and the Calling All Units, this gameplay, the creative and so forth, looked like a lot of fun. But in retrospect, it wasn't fun. It turned out to be extremely boring. Fortunately, I think Arctic Games has left the thing. Who is this guy up here? Is he just a random player? What is he doing on the side of the road? He's lucky that I saw him. But yeah, I do respect what the developers have done with this game. I only just hope that they will add one more DLC pack, add one more just DLC to the game, and just the final DLC to the game, which will be the last official update to the game, and then they'll just move on from this. I myself didn't bash on the game too hard, because I knew for a fact that there was pretty much no other game out there that could compete with this, really, at the time. I mean, yeah, there was Forza Horizon 2, but at the time, Forza Horizon 2 was just at the time, the Horizon series was a console-exclusive game, so there was literally no other alternative to it on PC besides the Crew. And then Forza Horizon 3 came out, and that became the Crew's biggest rival on PC and on the Xbox One. And from what I could tell, the developers were just being extremely cheeky out at E3, and they were like, "Oh, we're gonna release our new DLC," but they were also like on the fence about it. It's like, do we release our do we announce our new DLC during E3? And they were like, let's wait to see what the developers of Turn 10 have in store, and then we'll decide. And then after what they saw, after they saw Forza Horizon 3 was announced, they were like, okay, let's hold off on this for now. We'll wait until Gamescom, just so that we can hype up the game, hype up the DLC pack a little bit more. I do have to say though, the last really fantastic DLC pack that was added into the Crew was Wild Run. That just gave you a complete reason to play the game pretty much every single month, because they would release brand new cars as something you could get in Wild Run, and pretty much you play the qualifiers like once every week or something like that. Actually, once every half a week, to be able to unlock the monthly summit, and then you could win your car from there, win the vehicle from there. But frankly, the summit vehicles were just not that good mostly. I mean, they had some nice additions to the game. The Evora was a nice addition. This was a pretty nice addition. The M4 was a nice addition. The F40 for sure was a very nice addition to the game, and totally unexpected to be added in. But then after a while, they started just bringing in pretty crap vehicles into the game, the bikes, so forth. And Wild Run also brought in the bikes, the Shri Drive Challenge system, which was amazing, just an amazing addition. The photo mode, which was crazy as well. But now pretty much just Wild Run is just, right now the Wild Run DLC, it's kind of there. It doesn't really serve a major purpose for the game anymore. It's just there. There's no brand new vehicles you can add in. You can win official brand new vehicles. I mean, you can win the current vehicles from the game in the monthly summit, but that's not really that fun. Being able to win something completely brand new that pretty much nobody else has, that's what made the summit extremely special. But now that you can just simply win cars that everybody else already has, and you can show off and be like, oh, I got this awesome new car. It's like, oh, that's cute. I got that months ago. In fact, maybe you could say I got that like a year ago. But yeah, there's a lot of stuff they could be possibly thinking about. I'm hoping it's a map expansion, because if they add a map expansion and a whole bunch of brand new cars, I'm pretty sure that would just be the perfect expansion for the game. But frankly, I would prefer if they could work on the game engine as well, work on the physics engine, improve upon it as it is. Not like change it majorly, change the handling physics majorly, just improve upon it, fix small little bugs with the physics engine, such as just the random crashing you get from traffic cars. Like, you sometimes can, most of the time when you like scrape up against a traffic car, you'll just go right past it. But there's also just sometimes where you scrape up against a traffic car and then you just get severely affected by it. You get slowed down by it, you spin out, you crash, like you saw a couple of times over there. No idea what's up with that. Hopefully they can fix what's up with the game engine as well. I would like to see them fix that as well, because the Crew uses up a lot of resources. Any other game I play, like Driver San Francisco, whatever, it doesn't even make my GPU like fans come on at 100%. This is the only game I play that makes my GPU fans run at 100%. Which is kind of weird. But at the same time, not really, because that's the way the game engine... That goes to show how crappy the game engine is. Overall, the Crew is just an interesting game, but at the same time also a very, very strange game in terms of just methods that the developers have done with the game. It's cool in the fact that it's done many different types, many different aspects that other game developers have not even like grazed the surface upon. Like, the cars have incredibly crazy customization, all these specs. People are like, the specs should be removed off the cars. Now I don't know why that bug happens sometimes, but it happens. It's not too annoying. It goes after a while. What was I saying? The customization aspect of pretty much all of the cars is amazing, and the specs just make the cars unique. Like, take for example, you get a specific car that you want in a specific spec that you just like the visual customization of, and then later you realize that if they eliminated the spec system so you can only have one spec of each car, then it would just make it complicated in the end. So pretty much you just buy a car because you like visual customization of it in one spec, and then later you realize that it's just the most competitive car in another spec, which is a different spec other than what you actually have in the game, and you're forced to either sell the car that you've specifically locked to that spec, since the game actually only allows you to have one version of that car. Well, how would I explain? Pretty much, if the limited to one spec, and there was a specific spec that was better, and you just liked a different one, only for the visual customization, you'd just be basically forced to change it. Change to a different one. Whoa. Nice two-wheel action there. The current spec system we have is just simple. And that's just how I like it. You can have multiple cars in your garage, and that just makes it better. Yeah, it makes it just disorganized in the car list, but it works. That's all that matters. Would have been nice if they added in an option to set your favorite car so that you can easily find which car you're looking for in your car list. So anything that's not a favorite is just pretty much put at the bottom, and everything that is a favorite, it will be put at the top of your list in alphabetical order. And there pretty much would not be a maximum amount of cars you can favorite. And we're nearing the end of the free drive challenge. I don't know if I will cancel the free drive completely. Stop streaming the game after I complete this free drive challenge. But yeah, there's a lot of amazing aspects, like I said, with this game. The fact that you can honk your horn and stuff. The fact that the high beam lights and so forth work, toggle between low and high beam function, that's just a feature that I haven't really seen all that in too many games. In fact, Forza Horizon 3 doesn't even have that. Your high beams are on all the time in Forza Horizon 3. And then there's Grand Theft Auto 5, which allows you to switch between low and high beam. kind of nice, I guess. They see me scraping, they hate it, trolling and trying to catch me, leaving sparks, I don't know. Trying to catch me low riding, trying to catch me low riding, trying to catch me low riding. You can make that into a parody actually, kind of riding dirty. Might be an option. That'd be kind of cool. Anyway, nearing the end of the free drive challenge, it took me about 30 minutes to complete. It's pretty nice, I guess. Cancel, don't save that. 60,000 bucks. Oh, really? I clicked the retry button. Feels bad, man. I have to abort it. Feels bad, man. And I'm gonna get that bug that gives me damage on my car. I'm pretty sure. Yeah, it gave me quite a bit. And I've bumped the wall accidentally. And the engine sounds aren't actually that good in this game, but to be completely honest, I don't really care about that too much. The sounds, engine sounds work. They're not a #1 priority for me. Sigma Mercy. Membership. Okay. That's sort of legit right there. I also like that they make the gauges work all the time in the interior. That's a nice feature. Not too many, just pretty much gaming developers do that. Not even Forza does that, and Forza tries to be the most realistic game you can possibly want it to be. Yet it doesn't do that at all. Medium challenge, I'm not gonna do that. Medium challenge, frankly, because I just don't feel like it. And let's go to the Perf tuner. I'm gonna actually show you all the brand new stickers real quick that they added in for everyone. There were, I believe, 3 of them that you could win from the event specifically, and then the rest of them you just buy through there. I don't know why they were all that expensive, to be completely honest. The thing I liked is they added the Driver San Francisco stickers. Those were missing for such a long time in the game, and then now they finally added them in, which is pretty nice, I guess. 90,000 bucks for that. Holy crap. I think it's one of the stickers I even missed as well. I have to pay a lot of bucks to get that. Frankly, I don't want to spend any of the bucks. The only stickers I want to buy are the Driver San Francisco stickers. I like those. Kind of nice that they made these like special edition stickers available. But it's kind of dumb as well that they actually forgot about these stickers as well. They were in the game files for pretty much ever and ever. And then they only just released them. I believe they first made an appearance in the Wild Run beta. You could buy those in the Wild Run beta. And then in the full game, they didn't exist at all. Color is still the same. Let's just remove the stickers because I don't really want them. So yeah, I think I'm gonna end the stream off here. And pretty much it.